all started from my first commercial for the National Party, and it was all about getting, they had that whole campaign of going back to school, and so they had these kids. So one of their commercials was going down the corridor, and in these classrooms were all your careers or your future. So every time you open a classroom, there was your future right there. Another classroom was another future, or your destiny or whatever. And then that was my first commercial. So I got the bug from then. I came to one point I either could have gone rugby or could have gone acting. But the ticker always said, let's go this way, let's go with this acting thing and see what happens. The hardest road, you know what it's like. It's still hard now. But no, just decided to do it. The heart was there and said, let's go with this. And thank God, touch wood, that I'm still doing it after over 10 years now. Skitz was my first comedy, along with Whānei, Mr. Whānei and Hore Aipini, legends of the industry. I auditioned for the core cast, which Dave Whānei got, because he's funny. No, it was actually funny. I came into the audition and Dave had just come out, and I'd never met Dave before. But so I auditioned, didn't get the part, but they had a sketch in there, the Semisis. So they got me in just to play the son. Originally, Dave, that one character, the core cast, played all the characters, but it became too hard. They realised it was going to be too hard, so they cast everyone. So Jackie Clark played my sister, I was the son, Hore was my mum, and Dave Whānei played Dad. Oscar came on later on too. Oscar came on as a writer, and I think it was either second or third season. Oscar, I was introduced to Oscar. He was a Christian cop who had values. Quite a boring character. That was my introduction to SPP. My first thing with South Pacific Pictures. But Mason Key, he was a Christian cop, and I looked, because a couple of times I've been home late. Jackson's Wharf has played, and I looked at him and goes, man, you're a boring bastard. Man, you're a boring. Nick Ward wrote that. And I was working at Saatchi's reception at the time, and Nick Ward came to one of the plays, Victor's play, Sons. And I think Nick, at the time, was writing Stickmen, and he saw me perform Sons, and figured, and from then on he just said, Robbie's got to play Jack. And I thank them to this very day, because they had to fight, they had to convince the investors, and whoever had the money, and whoever Touchstone, whatever it is, they had to fight their asses off to convince that I was Jack. So thank you, Nick, and Hamish Rothwell, who directed it actually. So that was my first feature film. It was the most amazing thing, We got down there and they put us in an apartment, so that when they put us in an apartment so we can all click, because I didn't know Polo, I didn't know Scotty, but we clicked the first time, and it was fun. The only bummer is, I think, because we were the back of Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, films like that. So New Zealanders back then loved the film, although they said, well, that's just New Zealand trying to copy it. No, we weren't trying to copy it. This is Nick Ward. This is what Nick Ward, and Nick Ward's still writing about his stories, to this very day. I think everyone became their character, became their character once we were put in that apartment. Because Polo was, I know Polo now, and he's totally different to the character that he played, but he totally immersed himself. And Scotty's the same as well, Actually, no, Scotty was a little bit, no, I'm kidding. So I got this audition, right, and they said, okay, for the audition, we want you to read this bit of script that they gave us, but also choreograph a 30-second or 20-second strip routine. So I thought, holy moly, where the hell do I get this from? So I went to Showboys. I went down there and I just, Dion, I bumped into Dion, who actually ended up to be the choreographer and one of the dancers. And I said, look, dude, I've got this audition, right? And I just need to work out a 20-second routine. So they took me aside, and they were really cool guys, and they took me aside and they got this routine. And so I got it. The hardest bit for me was the dieting, was the crash diet, and the 100% protein. It was a nightmare. Dave Farley approached me and said, do you want to become one of the Nakeds? Because one of the Nakeds had decided to leave. So I did a show with them, and then I did a show with them in Edinburgh, and it kind of just went from there. And then they were talking about Siones. John Barnett has seen us perform, and he said, I want to do something with these guys. So I think he talked to Oscar and James, and Sione's wedding came out of it. We got the okay to do a pilot, a little pilot for the investors, and Simon Bennett was directing at the time. It might have been a week or less than a week shoot, but we got, because we were so excited about all of us doing a film for the first time, and most of them, Oscar, I think all of them except myself and Dave, had never done a film before, so everyone, the excitement was there for the first film. So when we did that pilot and we finished, we were ready to carry on. It was like, no, I need to carry on. And I think it might have been a year or so, we heard back. I got the phone call. I was actually driving back on Great North Road. I remember exactly. The first one is just the buzz. I think just the buzz. It's just everyone's first film, and the boys got to play, for 6 weeks of shoot, and it was a dream come true for most of us, I reckon. I was the brown guy that dies, the token coloured guys that die. We got out of the van. And in one of the scenes, Scotty said, you guys go and check. Oh, we're going to die, eh? And we do. We're the first one that died. It was the first one. And guess what? It was the brown guys. It was the brown guys that got out of the van. Because it was the white actors that said, go up there, check it out. And what happens? We die. Lovely guy. I was freaking out because, you hear about Americans and their tantrums and stuff. But Jason was awesome. Lovely man to work with. And it's funny that the whole story about tattooing and the curse and stuff like that, when I was told, my grandmother or even my uncles used to tell me stories about that. It used to scare the shit out of me. I don't think, yeah. It didn't scare me as much on The Tattooist. I think it could have been a lot scary. But, who am I? I'm just a puppet, after all. The guy that designed the tattoo, his name is Tui Whaasina. He's the one that did my tat. That tat there. He was the one that did that. He designed that, and he did it for me. But I saw some of his work when one of the extras that was in it. I saw some of his work, and I said, "Who did that?" Tui Whaasina. So his father. Sorry, what I was getting is his father was on set most of the time, just for that, the spiritual, superstitious thing. So I think there was a couple of times that they used, if it felt wrong, they blessed it before we carried on. Originally, that character was a Palangi, but my agent, I think it was at the time, I think it was one of my low points in my career when work wasn't coming my way, and I said, look, there's this role that's coming up, it's for a Palangi, but should I just put your name for it? He goes, yeah, go. So when my name came through, they said, oh yeah, I'll put him down on tape. So the character changed to, it was originally Maxwell Novak, who was outdoorsy, liked to ski, liked to mountain bike. These are all the things that Polynesians don't do. You learn your craft pretty quick here. When I first started on this, I didn't realise, I was nervous, I was shaking out there before coming in here. I hadn't worked in a while, and people had this thing, they seemed to think, oh well, Robbie's worked a while now, so he'll be okay for it. No way, man, I was shaking my ass out there, and nervous as for about a week before I started to settle down. It's a totally different beast here. With multicam, it's like performing on stage, kind of things, one here, so, when you're working on something next door, like Almighty Johnson's or something like that, there's setups here, and then there's another setup there, there's always another setup here. Whether it's here, it's like three cameras at you, so it's getting every angle. I took 3 months from here to do Sione's 2, and then I did Othello, and then now I'm back here. So at the moment, just looking forward to a break, really, and then Christmas.